Hundy. I'm doing my PhD in geography in paleolimnology. I use lake sediments as historical records. I'm working in Utah in alpine lakes, and we're just trying to see if there have been human influences on these lakes. I decided to come to Western because of the people. I did an undergrad class with my supervisor, Katrina Moser, and I liked the field research, and I thought the kind of problems that she could solve doing paleolimnology were really cool, so that's why I decided to come here. Funding was important to me for picking graduate schools. I think Western's funding program was really competitive for the ones that I looked at. On top of that, geography has a scholarships committee, and they've been really helpful with my external funding applications, so it's been really good, and I've had good luck with funding.
My name is Richard Sadler. I just upgraded into a PhD program, kind of straight through a master's program here at Western, looking at the health impacts of inadequate food access, different levels of food access, how to define food access, what types of stores are people using, and what about those who have poor access? How is that influencing their lives? I like to think that my research is very applicable to the real world, and when I explain it to people, it seems very intuitive. And I say, what if you couldn't drive a car and you couldn't walk to a grocery store? How would that influence what you eat? I've been fortunate to be co-supervised by Drs. Jason Gilliland and Godwin Arcu. Jason is, he does a lot of work with historical GIS, but he's also a health geographer. And Godwin does a lot of stuff with economic development. And by being co-supervised, I felt that I could increase my knowledge of both fields and kind of bring together the economic implications of food retail provision with the health implications, and then so I'm not just understanding it from one side. The funding, just the basic funding that a graduate student gets here, again, since I'm from the States, is quite a bit better than most graduate programs in the United States. I was accepted to a couple of programs within Michigan, but I would have had to fund my own studies. And it didn't come with a teaching assistantship either. So an obvious benefit for me is that I didn't want to go on to graduate school if I was just going to be going into debt.
My name is Novak. I'm a PhD student here at Western studying geography. I was in genetics though for my undergraduate program. I made the big switch into the geography program for my master's, and I haven't looked back since. I study the way the retail developments have occurred through time, right from the founding of London in 1826 through the present day, and basically how we got from the traditional downtown shopping areas out to the shopping malls and now the contemporary big boxes that we see in the urban landscape. Research should have impacts in a couple of areas, again because I study retail and retail history, and specifically in London. I hope to document how retailing has changed over time and the reasons for that change. Supervisor or faculty advisor is Jason Gilliland. I found him actually by looking at his website. If you don't have an advisor yet, I'd suggest checking out the departmental website where they have a list of all the faculty, and each faculty member's website usually gives an impression of their research interests, whether they're looking for new graduate students, and selection of the publications. So I was interested in urban form and architecture, and those keywords were on his website. So this term I'm actually teaching my first time, and it's a wonderful experience. I've only given one lecture so far, but I really like it, and that's one of the big pluses in the department. They're very open to senior level PhD candidates pushing through or being allowed to take on a class on their own, which is a great experience and very helpful for future careers, especially those wanting to go on in academia. I've been able to do quite a bit of traveling through my graduate career here, attending conferences. I'm just returning from a conference in China, which was a fascinating experience. I was in Guangzhou at the International Seminar on Urban Form, meeting colleagues from around the world that I've actually met at other conferences, such as places in England and Brazil. So I have been able to do quite a bit of traveling, and of course, on the side, after going to the conference, it's always good to look around the city. Being an urban geographer, I'm learning much attending these conferences.
Hi, my name is Abel Chikanda. I am a fourth-year PhD student in the Department of Geography here at the University of Western Ontario. I am from Zimbabwe, and my research focuses on Zimbabwean-trained medical doctors who have left the country. So my research tries to identify the ways in which these medical doctors can contribute to Zimbabwe's economy, as well as in the development of Zimbabwe's healthcare delivery system, which is currently in shambles. I came here in 2006. I had quite a number of possibilities. For instance, I had been offered a place to study for a PhD in the Netherlands, and they had offered me a scholarship that would cover my living expenses. And I had also been offered a Fulbright scholarship to study in the US. And at that time, I also applied to the University of Western Ontario, and the package that I got from Western, it was quite competitive. For instance, it would cover my tuition as well as my living expenses. So I thought that it would suit my needs as a graduate student. And there were also some other advantages, especially with coming here to Canada. It's a multicultural society. You do find people of all races from all the continents coming to Canada. So I thought as an immigrant, my life would be okay here in Canada compared to elsewhere.
My name is Jeremy Schmidt. I'm a third-year PhD candidate at the University of Western Ontario in the Department of Geography. My research is concerned with answering the question of what should we do with water. The main policy experts in the world are increasingly turning towards the influence of moral and philosophical values in trying to understand the conflicts that arise around limited water resources and increasing social demands, whether it be for industry, energy, or agriculture. And so my research looks at these issues in the context of the Canadian province of Alberta. The reasons that I came to Western are quite a few. First, when I visited the campus, I was treated very professionally that would get the sort of financial and academic support that I needed. I was also attracted to the city of London because it's small. I can live close to work, I can live close to a river and downtown without owning a car. And so far, all of my expectations have been greatly exceeded. I've had a number of excellent opportunities in the department for teaching, for being a teaching assistant, and also have had an incredible amount of support from people not necessarily involved with my project, whether it be professors dropping off books they think I'd be interested in, or just taking an interest in my research and providing perspectives that I might not necessarily have thought of. It's been an absolute pleasure. Since arriving at Western, the funding that I've been able to gain from external fellowships and scholarships has been tremendous. The scholarship committee here in the department worked closely with me on an application to the Trudeau Foundation, which is Canada's highest award for doctoral scholarships in the humanities and social sciences, and I was very fortunate to have their support and advice, and also the financial support from the University of Western Ontario in general to support my travel for interviews and other aspects of the process of being awarded the Foundation Scholarship. I feel that Western has an excellent reputation in this regard, especially in our department, for getting researchers into the department who not only care and are at the top of their disciplines or specific field areas, but who also are willing to take the time to collaborate with students and to show students how to become that type of researcher. And I would say that's the most value-added aspect of the department.